Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and tonight we're doing our weekly Thursday Night Football reaction. This time, Jaguars, Titans, and there wasn't really much going on in this game at all, Jeff. I don't know. It was pretty much what we expected, I guess, from Jacksonville, Tennessee, I guess. That's about the game I expected to see.
Yeah, it was a brutal watch tonight. And
it wasn't terribly
enjoyable. Mostly
enjoyable.
Just me feeling bad for certain players. And we'll get to all of that. But yeah, it was a rough one. And to be honest, even after the first quarter where I thought, maybe there'll be actually quite a bit of scoring, it settled down and it kind of got to the game that we all thought it was going to be, which was defense heavy and a lot of poor quarterback play, really.
You had a game that we kind of expected Derrick Henry to be like. We expected him to play like this when we talked about him in the preseason, but he gets the touchdown, so it doesn't kill your fantasy day. But 17 carries, 44 yards, that's the Derrick Henry we know, right?
Yeah, it is. And to be fair to him, because I thought he looked better than, the 2.6 yards per average. But Jacksonville defense is the real deal. They are very, very good. And their front line, man, they came to play today. You saw Josh Allen, the rookie, really come into his own. Campbell was all over the place. So I'm giving him a little bit of a bye. But if Mariota can't get it together as a quarterback, and that 304 yards is very misleading. He played such a poor game, and I know he got sacked a ton, but I don't know, there's no urgency. He was missing open guys. It was a rough one to watch for the Tennessee Titans offense.
End of game was terrible. Like, you're down. Yes, you are down 2 touchdowns, with like 2 minutes left, but at least try. It was terrible. And yeah, I guess I won't hold this one against Henry. It was Jacksonville looked like the Jacksonville defense from 2 years ago, which was just impossible to play against. So that was, good to see if you've been banking on the Jaguars defense. But other than that, Adam Humphries came to play a little bit, I guess, 6 for 93, 9 targets. That was decent. Corey Davis just still can't get going. And
once again, I'm completely ready to defend Corey Davis. He won't show up on any of my waiver pickups, or he won't be on any of my teams, but every time I watch the guy, I'm like, God, he could be a star somewhere else. I really do think he's that talented, but this offense, it is impossible to be a productive wide receiver. He had a one-handed grab that I thought was great. When Mariota really does kind of anchor himself and throw a good strike, Corey Davis is getting himself open. Man, it's so frustrating to watch this offense. It really is. And their defense is fine. Their defense is actually pretty okay, but they just, field position and everything. I have a hard time talking about him. It's so hard to watch.
It really was. And I guess Delaney Walker did a typical Delaney Walker game too, 7 for 64. As a PPR tight end, he's a pretty solid option. So, with how bad tight end, you'd probably love to have Delaney Walker on one of your teams right now.
Right now, I would, yeah.
With how depleted tight end seems to be. But other than this, not much. Just not much from the Titans. They score 7 points, so just not much there. And this is gonna be a quick show.
I know, right?
Right. This was just a game which, if fantasy football wasn't involved, I highly doubt I would have spent my time watching that. Yeah,
I wouldn't have watched it. And during the broadcast, they actually talked about Tom Brady stopped watching it, or he stopped watching it because he thought all the penalties were ridiculous. It was some social media thing. I actually do believe it, because that made it even harder to watch. In the first half, I believe there was 15 penalties called. It was every other play they were calling holding. And if it wasn't frustrating enough, and, maybe you can chalk it up to part of that. I really don't think you can. But if it was already hard enough to watch those offenses go at each other, it was even harder when every other play they were like discussing who held who. And to be fair, Derrick Henry, he probably would have had a slightly better game if all the holding penalties didn't, hurt him. And a lot of those weren't, they're really ticky-tack stuff, like holding that really didn't spring the runner. And I can't believe I'm defending Derrick Henry so much this game, but it really was that poorly of a played one.
Over with Jacksonville, I mean, Gardner Minshew, he's okay. He still continues to be a decent NFL quarterback. I don't think he's not great, but he's better than I expected. I'll say that. He's much better than I expected. He doesn't hurt them.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with you. I'm very interested, and I said bad quarterback play, but I'm really talking about Mariota. But there are certain ones where Minshew could get better. But tell you the truth, I mean, even his stat line of 204 with 2 touchdowns should have been much better by the one guy that I thought disappointed the most out of anyone on the field today, and that was D.D. Westbrook. He looked really bad. He had 9 targets. I think he had 3 drops, one being a just atrocious one in the end zone, which was a perfectly thrown ball by Minshew. So D.D. Westbrook was the one guy that I fell the most in my eyes after watching this. But yeah, Minshew, I'm not saying he's going to probably be fantasy relevant anytime soon, but I think Jacksonville, if their defense keeps doing this, I think he could be good enough where they could get wins and actually be at least in the conversation of playoffs.
So I don't know if you saw this on Instagram. I made a post yesterday showing droppable players. I listed 10 guys who I was telling people, you know what? You can just be comfortable dropping them. D.D. Westbrook was one of them. And man, I got a lot of flack for that.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong.
I don't think I am.
You watched this game. Oh my gosh. It was bad. Like, he really, luckily this game was the Titans couldn't get it together, but if it wasn't, he would definitely been the GOAT. Yeah. Like, he would have been the scapegoat.
I don't think, I'm perfectly fine throwing him out in the waiver wire. You just don't know what you're going to get. I can't put him in my lineup.
Well, and even more so, DJ Chark is the guy that we were always hoping that was going to make the next step, and he has. I wish that he would get more looks and more throws his way. That's kind of the next step for me to say, yes, absolutely. I think he is the guy that you have to go and get, and you might have gotten him a week ago because, he started flashing. But another good game, 4 receptions, 76 yards with a touchdown, and Minshew and him seem to have a pretty good connection, and he's going up and getting balls. He's obviously a pretty freaky athlete. He's very, very tall, and he's very, very fast. And he's showing that he has a better understanding and better hands than he did last year, which is expected. He was a young wide receiver, but I think DJ Chark is the guy to have if you're going to have anyone on this team, really.
I'll say Leonard Fournette's game tonight is like the perfect example of how yards per carry is so misleading. 4.4 yards a carry tonight. So you see that, you like, okay, solid outing. Then you look at the numbers, 15 carries, 66 yards. Long, 69. Longest run of the night was 69 yards, but he had 15 carries for 66 yards. His other 14 carries went for -3. That is, wow, that's interesting. I'll say that. I can't even, that one run, it makes it not look as bad as it was, but it was bad. It was really bad. And the one run he actually breaks free for the big gain is because the Titans knew Jacksonville was running the ball. So they have everybody up, and he just breaks through, get through the line of defense. No one else there. That's the only reason he even got that. I don't know what to make of Fournette after like a game like that, where he also had 6 catches, 26 yards. So in PPR, he had like 15 points. It was. Yeah,
honestly, he was probably the guy that I just felt bad for as I was watching the game. They're they're just loading the box up. And Minshew made him pay. Obviously he threw 2 touchdowns. He really threw 3. But they loaded up on him. And if I was going to give Minshew crap for anything tonight, it would be hanging Fournette out to dry every time he threw it to him. He would wait very late, and then he would dish it off to him. And the Titans were just getting a free, just full speed tackle on the guy. And you could tell he was getting pretty frustrated. And that's why his numbers in the passing game don't look too impressive. But I just felt bad for him. And he finally got that long run, which thanks to the TV program for actually doing my due diligence for me. But they said it was the first run over 25 yards for him since 2017, which obviously injury plays a lot into that. But he's not really a big play type of guy like that. So getting that 69 yarder, is the unusual part. So the fact that when, whatever it was, like 12 carries in, he was negative. I thought that his night, he was just going to have one of the all-time worst nice for a starting running back that got, 20 touches, but pulls it out. This game was very, very bizarre. And I think the thing that I'm taking away from it is I like DJ Chark. Other than that, and I'm staying away from every single person, because even if I think Leonard Fournette is a talented running back, which I do, I think the situation he is in is setting him up for, a very rough year. And Derrick Henry, I think, I don't want to completely give up on him. I think this was a strange game, and I think Jacksonville was very good. So I'm giving him a pass. But once again, it is another notch for Derrick Henry in my mind too. Okay, he's not at the level that everyone wants to put him at yet. I cheer for him, but he's not that guy. And even more so, I was terrified at the end Deion Lewis would break one, and then all of a sudden it would turn into a split backfield again.
And Henry, though, those touchdowns, he's going to get the goal line work. And he's going to make himself, even with bad games, 2.6 yards a carry type games, he's going to get a touchdown. He's going to have a really good shot at least to get a touchdown and make it a worthwhile start. That's why he's at least a start every week. You don't know if you're going to get a great game from him every time, but fantasy purposes, he'll be fine. Fournette, though, I can't say that for sure, because teams I don't think respect Minshew at all yet. And they're just going to try to stop Fournette, and they're going to let Minshew has to beat teams a lot. Maybe they beat him tonight, yes, but he needs to really make them pay to actually have him to open it up for Fournette at all, which it could happen. He might start doing that. So,
I mean, is there any other players on either one of these teams? Which is funny. I'll get to my question in a second. I actually looked as I was setting all my rosters up, and I don't know, say 10 teams or whatever that we manage at least. I literally found one guy. I had one guy from this game on all my teams. And that was a Scott Fishbowl League where you go really deep. And I had picked DJ Chark in the preseason as one of my last guys. That was the only guy that I had on any of my rosters. So it does show that, just to kind of show, maybe I am a little biased as far as I just never liked any of these guys in the first place. But in your mind, Craig, is there anyone here that, because of the poor showing, you're probably going to get them dirt cheap? Is there anyone you would go out and try to get, or someone that maybe is going to be on the waivers because people are going to drop them? Like, is there anyone worthy of any sort of consideration after what we just saw? And we'll take, obviously, Derrick Henry, will take him out of the running, but even Leonard Fournette, like, what do you do with him right now?
Okay, I'm looking at this from the perspective of a running back needy fantasy team. Okay, and I am in that situation. I would take Fournette, but I wouldn't give up much at all to get him. That's the problem. I don't know how that's gonna work out. You're gonna have to find the owner who has Fournette that just thinks, oh wow, he's no good. Without the long run, this would have been much easier. That might make it so it's not as easy to pull off, but if you find the Fournette owner who's just ready to give up, the problem, I'm trying to think what I would give up for him. Okay, I'm thinking in the span of like my team that I have. If I needed a running back, so I have 4 starting receivers. I would probably only give up like DJ Moore for him. And that's about it. Because I have Mike Evans, Odell Beckham, Calvin Ridley. I wouldn't even give up any of those 3. I'd give up like a DJ Moore for a Fournette, and that's only because I'm needy at running back. That's the level I'm at.
It's pretty brutal. What about anyone else? Anyone else that you might? I mean, obviously you said D.D. Westbrook is droppable, so I'm assuming not him. But any other players that kind of catch your fancy, and you're just like, know what? I know that this was a bad game, but I'm not ready to write them off. I think that they might be value.
I mean, I like what DJ Chark's done, but I think a lot of people do. That's not a surprise. There just isn't. Honestly, I'm kind of over the Corey Davis thing because he doesn't have the quarterback to do it. So I don't think that's going to happen. And I can't see, I don't want any part of like Deion Lewis. He's clearly not going to do anything for you at this point. He's going to maybe in one game, he's going to do it. It's going to be so sporadic. There is honestly just nothing here. There's nothing here. There just isn't. There's nothing here. Yeah, I can't do it. I'm keep looking. Nothing.
I think we've said it all. Yeah. I do have to say this though. If Minshew keeps improving and the Jacksonville Jaguars were able to somehow talk Jalen Ramsey off the ledge and keep him. Their defense is so good, and for the most part, very young as well, or parts of it are very young. Oh, man, I mean, their defense was really fun to watch, and I know Titans are relatively bad, but, I mean, they sacked Mariota 9 times. And I think the thing that annoyed me the most about all that is it never seemed like he got any more, like, he didn't change the way he played. He didn't make any reads quicker. I mean, it was so annoying to kind of watch him just say, well, this is my life. I'm just going to take it. Like, that's kind of what it felt like. But anyway, defense was amazing. Would you play this, the Jacksonville defense? Is that something that, where do they kind of rank? Because I don't think that their offense will scare anyone, but at the same time, it's good enough not to turn the ball over. And if they are able to get a few sacks, do they rank in your top 10 or are they just outside of that?
They're probably, it's hard to exactly say because I don't know how I feel about Tennessee, but I think Jacksonville's top 10. I believe they are. I think they're top 10. I mean, I believed in them enough where I actually picked them up in a league just yesterday, this is a league where you actually pay per waiver pickup. So to make a waiver pickup in that league, you actually have to feel, strongly about a player or about a team defense at all. I actually picked them up. So, hey, if they better be good because I spent $5 on them, like actual money.
$5?
So, yeah, per transaction.
Oh, so it's an automatic $5 per transaction.
No, actual money that gets added to the pot at the end of the year.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. I thought it was actually like a bidding system where it's like, no. I was like, dude, are you going to spend $100 when like when Zeke goes down and you're like, I need Pollard? Like, no, I mean,
that would be interesting. But no, I think they're going to be really solid. So I like them.
What?
I think that's it. That's all I got we got way more than I expected out of Jaguars Titans here. So.
Yeah, I think we might have stretched that one a little bit.
But all right, that'll do it. We'll be back late Sunday night with the week 3 reaction. Talk to you guys then.